Mountains, right? They're these like ultimate tests, pushing yourself to the limit, willpower, all that. But the deep dive you asked for today, the 1991 Meili Snow Mountain accident, kind of turns that whole idea upside
It
down.
really makes you think about ambition. How far is too far? Especially when you've got something else in play, a whole culture, their beliefs, tied to this one place, this mountain.
Right. Okay, so we're in China, Yunnan province, Meili Snow Mountain. Yeah. Didn't someone finally climb it like right before this accident we're talking about?
You've got it. Over 22,000 feet, rock, ice, the whole bit.
Yeah.
But to the Tibetans there, it's Kawakarpo. White Snow Mountain, sure, but way more than that. Sacred's the word.
And a team, 17 climbers, Chinese and Japanese, they're going for it, 1991. But, well, we know it wasn't just another one of those stories, conquering the peak, all that.
And that's what's so interesting about this. These sources you sent, it's not just the avalanche, right?
Mm.
There's this whole other layer, like cultural misunderstandings right from the get-go, like the Tibetan porters they hired.
Yeah, the diaries mention them, how they were, I don't know, casual about some risks, but then super uneasy about the whole point of getting to the top of Kawakarpo.
Exactly. It's like they knew something the climbers didn't. Gets to the heart of it. Climbers, this is their dream, their achievement. But for the Tibetans, this isn't just a mountain. It's deities, a protector. You don't just conquer that.
So the climbers, they've got their plans, weather, all the technical stuff, but they're missing this whole other piece.
The spiritual side of it. How do you even begin to understand that if you don't know the rules? And I think that's what set this whole thing in motion.
Like where they put camp number 3, that was a big deal, right? Between the Chinese and Japanese teams.
Huge. Japanese, they wanted it higher, closer to the top, ready to go as soon as the weather broke.
Right.
But the Chinese captain, he was against it. Maybe he sensed something wasn't right.
Not just climbing strategy, you're saying.
Right, right. This captain, he was experienced, but he also knew how the Tibetans felt about Kawakarpo. There's a part in his diary he talks about feeling watched, uneasy, and not just because of the climb itself.
So you've got this tension already, the cultural stuff, and now this camp placement thing blowing up.
Yeah, it all just came to a head. The Japanese climbers, they're ready to move.
Yeah.
To them, the Chinese captain, he's stuck in the past. Superstition's holding him back. But for the Tibetans, who knows, right? Maybe this hesitation, it made sense to them. Deep down, like some places you just don't mess with.
And in the end, he gave in the Chinese captain, camp number 3. They set it up where the Japanese team wanted.
But everyone's wondered about that ever since. Was he just, I don't know, caving under pressure, wanting to keep everyone happy? Or was it something else, like he felt it, like he was giving into something bigger?
It's scary to think about knowing what happened because that's it, right? Camp number 3, last contact, gone.
Right, so they get the camp set up, they try for the summit a few times, almost there. But Meili, it's like it knew, right? Blizzards, couldn't see a thing, whined all over the place. Finally, time's running out, all 17 of them, back at camp number 3. Then, nothing.
Walkie-talkies, dead silence. Huge rescue effort, but
22 days, Chinese teams, Japanese teams, even the Tibetans, risking it all, trying to find them. Imagine that, families back home, every little bit of news, clinging to hope.
And the Tibetan community, how'd they take it? This whole thing.
That's where what you shared gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Sadness, of course, losing someone, anyone, it matters, especially in Tibetan Buddhism. But also this sense of, like, it was always going to happen.
Always going to happen.
Yeah, like a story they already knew. One of the sources mentions this old Tibetan guy. When they told him about the climbers, he just nods, says, Kawakarpo keeps what it claims.
That's chilling. But also, like you said, heartbreaking. For them, it wasn't just an accident. It was proof. You don't cross certain lines.
And that brings us to Naoki Kobayashi, the Japanese climber. He was supposed to be on that 91 expedition. Couldn't shake it,
Yeah.
Not just that they were gone, but the why of it all. What part did all this cultural stuff play?
He went back, didn't he, to Meili more than once.
He did, and that's important. In 96, another expedition, trying to climb Kawakarpo. You get this sense reading his account, like he had to finish it, prove something to himself, to his friends, that you could conquer that mountain.
But this time, no one local would help them. No Tibetan porters.
Nope. Had to get Sherpas from Nepal. And as they're going up, Kobayashi and his team, all those same spots where they'd made decisions, where his friends, where it happened, something changes in him.
He said he felt them there, his friends, like ghosts in the snow and ice.
Like the mountain was talking to him, not just about what happened, but that other side of it, the spiritual side. He'd missed it before.
Right, like he was finally seeing Kawakarpo the way the Tibetans did. Not just a climb.
Exactly. He talks about this one time. He's with the village chieftain, Tashi, this guy was good to him after the 91 accident. Really kind. Kobayashi, he's messed up about it all, still doesn't get it, and he asks Sashi, why? Why do they say Kawakarpo punishes people?
What'd Tashi say?
He asks Kobayashi, how would you feel someone came in your house, stepped right on, I don't know, someone you respected most, your grandfather? And he tells him, for them, Kawakarpo, yes. That grandfather, wisdom, protection, they're everything. You don't just mess with that.
So it wasn't about the climbing anymore. It was about something sacred being violated.
And that's when it clicked for Kobayashi. All that ambition, wanting to beat Kawakarpo, it blinded him to what it really was.
But it wasn't just talk, was it? 7 years later, 98, after everything.
They found them. The climbers, down below Camp No. 3, the ice.
Yeah.
It was like they'd just been there.
It's like that legend, right? About Kawakarpo claiming people. Can't be a coincidence.
And as if to prove it, not long after, Kobayashi sees this. I don't even know what.
Yeah.
Huge avalanche, bigger than the one they think got his friends. Wiped out this whole area, the Shenong Valley, where they had their base camp in 91.
Like if the mountain just shook them
It
off.
was like wiped clean.
Yeah.
Kobayashi said it was like a reminder. No matter how good you are, you can't beat that nature, especially with all that other stuff mixed in, the beliefs, the history.
Did he ever try again to climb Kawakarpo?
No. He actually started working to protect it. Worked with the Tibetans, make sure people understood, not to exploit it, Told them about 91, not as a lesson, but a way to bridge that gap. The culture.
Dedicated his life to it, really, so no one else would make that mistake. It makes you think, sometimes the real victory is knowing when to back down,
We talk about leave no trace when we're out there. But this was like, leave your ideas behind, too. Listen to what the place tells you, not just what you want from it.
So what about you listening? What sticks with you from this? The climbers, the mountain, or how sometimes you got to change your whole view to really see something?
Maybe it's this. Some places, you don't conquer them. You learn from them, even if the lesson's hard. That's the real exploration.